I've made over $500,000 at 15 years old in just the last 6 months. And it wasn't through getting this. I simply just used Snapchat. Now, most of you probably still think that Snapchat's only feature is to send streaks to your friends, but that's simply not the case anymore. When I tell you hundreds of people are literally making bank with Snap, and I'm talking 6 figs a month. People like David Dobrik have even hopped onto the platform and are now allegedly making over $130,000 a day. It's actually insane. Now, a lot of you are going to be questioning how this is even possible. There's actually 2 ways to make all this money using the platform, and that's by doing stories and Snapchats. Now, those 2 are completely different things, so we kind of have to take a deep dive into them individually. Stories are kind of like what you see on Instagram when you're scrolling through your feed, looking at your friend flexing their rented Rolex and fake Lambos, and Snapchat have basically copy-pasted this onto their platform and are paying creators insane amount of money to use them. David Dobrik isn't even the only one utilizing this. There's like a group of 100 to 200 people that have specific deals with the platform, making well over $1 million a month. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't famous enough to get this at the time, so I had to settle for the more brokey option, which is doing a show.
You're fucking poor!
A show is more like a YouTube channel, but in 3-minute vertical form. I started this back in January and kind of made a new niche on the platform. I would make news on whatever was going on the internet, so like Adin Ross, Andrew Tate, when he was in his prime Hustlers University phase, I would literally wake up to 2 million views, 3 million views every day, just raking in the dough. But obviously everything comes to an end, so I had to switch the trend. All I would do was just scroll on Twitter, see what was popping, and if I found a story interesting, I'd just make a video on it that day. Now, this was great and all, but I unfortunately didn't get into Snapchat's Prime because last year they were paying people upwards of $150K for 15-second videos. Yes, you heard that right. $150,000 for a 15-second video is what people used to be getting paid back in the day. And whilst I was still sitting playing Minecraft on my computer, these people were raking in millions of dollars, but at least I hopped on the trend before it died. But Snapchat isn't even the only thing I do anymore. Now I'm gonna take you into a deep dive of how I run my business. Alright, so once I've woken up, eaten my breakfast, and feeling energized for the day, I hop onto my computer and I get ready to work. Basically, I'm going to run you through my Snapchat dashboard and how I go about making my videos every single day to rake in this dough. As you can see here, it looks very complicated from the looks of it, but it's really not. Here are all my videos structured in a row, and these are the videos I post on a day-to-day basis. Now, you can kind of see some funny thumbnails here, and that's because I rely on making news videos to entertain the mass 13-year-old Andrew Tate fans. As you can see, a bunch of my thumbnails consist of Andrew Tate and the Gorlox Destroyer, quite literally. Not gonna lie, if I was 18, I might be into her. But anyways, on a more serious note, if we go to this video, for example, you can see I have the stats of it, which is pretty good, and I come here to analyze my content every day, see what's working and see what isn't. I will have my employees create the thumbnails for these videos, title them, and then we go ahead and post them. And with a snap of my fingers, you can see we are now on a different dashboard, and this one will have completely different content because it's in a different niche. Obviously, Andrew Tate still seeps through here because he's just too good for views. But realistically, we'll cover sports, rap, news, anything that's entertaining in the world. But now I'm going to show you some of the more spicy stuff, which is the revenue and the amount of views that I've made on just one of my channels. Alright, so I'm going to put this to just January to show you kind of how I was running it. Mind you, there's seasonal months in news shows because sometimes more things happen than not. And as you can see in January specifically, we were raking in millions of views every day. Apart from these 2 days, we don't talk about those. But on one specific day, we got almost 4 million views, and I'm not going to tell you exactly how much that made us. You can kind of guess for yourself, but I will show you my revenue for that month now. Now, if we go to January alone, you can see that we raked in a very nice and sweet 632,000 Robux for this month. Now, obviously, I do not keep all of this change because I have my boy that I split it with and many other costs that you have to keep in factor. But just to give you an idea of kind of what I did at 15, it's right here. And mind you, this is only on one channel in 1 month. To be honest with you, though, this took a lot of grinding to get to. We had to work every day. I would literally stay up until 8-9 a.m. and miss school to get our videos out when we didn't have employees at the time. So it was a very stressful job, but I really enjoyed doing it looking back on it now. But now we're going to switch completely over to YouTube, which is a different platform that I've made some of my money on. I don't really use this account specifically anymore. I run many others, but this is just to give you an idea of what I did at the time. So in specific, this channel has 410 million views, and I raked in a very nice $20,000 in its existence, which also doesn't seem like a lot, but you have to remember this channel specifically was shorts. And I'm not gonna lie, for someone at 15 years old, that was a pretty nice sum to hold in my bank. but obviously we moved on to bigger and better things. But this is just to show you that you're pretty much right around the corner from seeing a glimpse of success, because I tried one thing, which was YouTube, wasn't that hard, made a bit of money onto it, and transitioned over to something else. And it even got me this plaque, which I can't complain about, it's pretty sexy. But if we rewind it back a bit, when I was 12 during quarantine, I would literally edit and design for people, and I got my bread up for a while, but I kind of hit a roadblock when I realized that I had to learn the skill myself. And you guys may be very confused by that, but let me explain. I literally never learned how to edit or design while selling these skills, and the reason was because I would literally outsource all of this to Fiverr. And yes, that sounds crazy, but I got my bread up, I'm not gonna lie. But then I hit the roadblock, which was to actually have to learn these skills to get to the next level, and that's when I really started to lock in. At 12 or 13, my peak was like $5,000 a month, which is insane looking back at it now, and a lot of people think it's not possible, but bro, I literally did it. And the funny story is that the person I'm doing my Snapchat and YouTube with now is one of the clients I used to edit for back when I was 12. But I guess Drake was right when he said everything comes full circle.
Everything comes full circle.
And that's why I started YouTube back in November and Snapchat in January, and that's where everything basically took off. It was an insane trajectory, starting from basically here, very limp, and then a quick spike up, which basically takes you to where I am now. I'm not gonna lie, making business online is very overhyped and seems a lot more complicated than it actually is. All you need is some common knowledge and some YouTube videos around you, and you'll make it work. I did at 15 years old with not much in there, so I'm sure a lot of you more intellectual folks could make it happen. And I want you guys to realize that everything that I've showed you in this video was basically started only 6 months ago, although I have been working on social media for much longer. It really doesn't take that much time to find your success. It can kind of come out of nowhere. In reality, if you had told me that I would have had everything I have now like 2 years ago, I really would have thought you're crazy, but look at where we are now. I have a lot of crazy ideas that I'm going to be pumping out on this channel, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe.